What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. I am super excited. There's so many people in chat today. And so just let me start off with Holtz. Holtz, I don't know what you mean there, but maybe. Sanchez, so glad to see you, Sanchez. I was actually thinking about you, Sanchez, the other day because I saw you on Steam because we're friends on Steam. Obi Rose, Obi, you didn't do your show. I was looking for you. Like I got the notification and then you didn't do it. Crow, thank you so much for being here, Crow. Rouster, got your message, Diablo. We're going to talk a little bit about Diablo today. Wit, how's it going? Rouster, Mr. Mr. I am so glad to see you today as well. Well, y'all, this week has just been crazy. Been really crazy. And I'm going to try to get some music here. I don't normally do music on these things, but for some reason it's not working. Let me see. Can y'all hear that? Let me know if you can hear that. But I wanted to just talk. Hey, Severin. Hey, Severin, how are you getting some sleep? Y'all, if y'all did not know, Severin told us a few weeks ago, baby boys. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about, because there's a lot of stuff going on in gaming. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. And I needed to get my thoughts out on gaming, because I think there's a lot. I haven't done one of these. I haven't done like a purple shade in a long time. I haven't really talked about business in a long time. And I see, in the absence of any real, conversation about business, there's just console war stuff, and I think it annoys me. And so, man, my lighting's making this side of my mouth seem super red. Looks funny in the camera, but yeah. So I have some topics here, and I think I'm gonna get with the first one's real short. But I'm going to talk about basically all the gaming companies here. All the major gaming companies and the future major gaming companies. Yes, you heard that right. The future major gaming companies. As well as some games coming out. And I guess this is like really a pulse check on where gaming is right now. Yo, Lo-Fi, what's going on? Just doing a little pulse check on gaming. Giving my thoughts right now. And we're going to talk about a PS5. I'm non-committal on this right now. I'm going to get it. Going to rename the shades of red. No, Crow, you can't. Can you? Because it balances out. Like, right? It's not red, but it looks red there. I don't know what's happening. It's trying to be like Google with their AI photo correction, and it's not doing it. And it seems like the twins are sleeping a lot. I haven't heard them cry once since we brought them home, actually. Look at that. Just perfect little kids like Severin used to be. They stare at me like I'm an alien. Well, Severin, you described yourself as such. No, I'm joking, Severin. I'm joking. Meta, we're going to talk a little bit about Meta. We're going to talk a little bit about this one, too. Mr. Urban World, like I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit them all. Because I think everybody's doing something different. And I think it's unique. And so I really want to talk about all the major players and what I think to be like a future major player in the space, a couple of future major players in the space. Because I don't think people talk about this enough. Or if they do, it's all disparate and they use it for console war stuff. And so I really want to get into uh but yeah, so let's first start with like the biggest news, and we already know it's not really news. And that's why I want to get it out the way. Because I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I think, and I want to put my final stamp on this. Like I believe the ABK deal is going to get approved by the CMA tomorrow, right? They've told us as much. I don't really see any reason why they wouldn't. Everybody's gotten basically what they wanted out of it. I think the FTC is still going to challenge it, and they have, I think, pretty solid reasons too. Not to say that they want to block it. I think there's more policy reasons than that, but it's going to get approved. Do I think it's going to change nothing or anything? Do I think it's going to change nothing? No, I don't think it's going to necessarily change anything. And yeah, I think that's going to happen. I don't know what to say after that. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about the future of what that looks like and so forth, if that was the right move, in my opinion. But that's going to go through. So I just want to get that out the way. The next company that I really want to talk about, who I don't think is people are giving it enough credit right now, and I talked about this before. And I see you there, Holtz. Give me a second. I'll catch y'all in a second. The next thing I really want to talk about is Amazon. I know, Amazon Gaming, Luna. And why do I want to talk about Luna? Because to Luna's credit, now I know only hashtag media guy is like the only person I know who plays Luna. But I think in general, Luna may have something up their sleeves. Actually, I know they have something up their sleeves. Because there's something really unique that is kind of going on with Luna and Ubisoft. And just to test this out, like y'all, I went and got a subscription to Ubisoft PC, and I went and bought Assassin's Creed Mirage for PC. You're like, why did you do that, Purple? Why did you go do that? Here's the reason why. Because in order for me to play Assassin's Creed in the cloud, I can do it one of a few ways, right? I can either go pay Ubisoft Plus in the cloud. I can either go get Ubisoft PC for the cloud to play in GFN, or I can buy the game and play it in GFN or Amazon Luna. Now, y'all know I was a huge fan of Stadia's model. I don't think Google was a fan, but I was a fan. And I really like the idea of being able to play games I want to play and play them wherever I want to play. And guess what I can do that with right now? And I don't have to pay for cloud. I don't have to pay to stream it. Assassin's Creed Mirage. And I will be, y'all are not shocked by this, for y'all who has played Luna. Assassin's Creed Mirage plays really well on Luna. Now, granted, the UI for Assassin's Creed works a little bit better, than for GFN than some of the other games on GFN. I think that's the issue I have with GFN is it's kind of a different experience depending on the game, the launcher. But that's super cool that I can do that now. I bought the game, I bought it directly from Ubisoft. And I'm the type of person, y'all, if I have the choice to buy something from Amazon, this sounds really weird, but if I had the choice to buy something from Amazon, like just regular, I don't know, peanuts or something, I'm going to go see what Amazon has. And then I go to the company that's selling it and I buy it directly from them because I want the relationship with them. I don't necessarily care about the relationship with Amazon. I care about the relationship with who's delivering me the product. Now, granted, if it's shipping's easier and so forth and so on, I'll go through Amazon. But many times I find that I get the better deal, the better customer service, and just in general, a better experience if I go to the actual people selling the product, not the storefront of Amazon. And so I'm kind of testing this out with gaming right now. And I'm super excited to say that going through Ubisoft, buying the game, and playing it on Amazon Luna, I actually like this. I don't have to pay for GFN, and I can't see the difference between GFN 3080 tier and Amazon Luna. So I think they're testing stuff. I'm not saying it's going to take over. But I'm saying it's interesting. So that's Amazon. And I think Amazon has a couple more tricks up their sleeves. I think we're just now starting to hear about what they're exploring, how they're trying to monetize. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they're making a huge bet on gaming right now. I think anybody who's making a big bet on gaming right now is maybe wasting their money. Because I think something else can come. I think gaming has to mature a little bit. But let me see who's all here. About talking to Mario than others. Severin, you have been talking about Nintendo, but they have Paper Mario 1000 Years Door coming out, and I have a giant bias for that game. I hear you, Severin. We're going to talk about Nintendo here. On general side, I don't know if anyone. I hear you there, Roster. Full remake too, but beat it. See, y'all, Time Mirage is cheap enough to skip Ubisoft Plus, right? It's $50 unless you want the deluxe edition. It's $60. Great call out, Holtz. That's why I was saying, like, my 3080 tier, and I know Rouster told me not to get a 3080 tier, but I still got the 3080 tier. It is like $21 after tax. Like that's almost half the price of Assassin's Creed Mirage. And so, yeah, I don't know. I have a Luna controller I like a lot, but only use it on Steam though. Interesting. The Luna controller has some weight to it. Kubini, what is going on? How are you, Kubini? No, y'all know Kubini keeps me in check. And no Xbox slander going on. Not yet, at least. And so yeah, I'm only interested in D4 for the story. Can't do the grind to level 100. Hope next Diablo comes to Game Pass. If there is a next Diablo, I think I wanna talk about that. Do you mean like the next patch for Diablo, the next season, or do you just mean the next Diablo in general? And y'all, shout out to Rouster. I think I told y'all this before. We beat Diablo 4. So I'm super excited. And the season's almost over. And I'm not happy because now I have to start a new character. And I'm debating if I really want to do that. What about the 4080 tier? Hey, Paul, what's going on? I make my own money. I can't waste it on however I please. I know, Sarah. I know. I love the 4080 GFN games. Look killer. I think they do. But again, I think, and I think Luna might be onto something. That's all I'm saying. Hey, David Wilson. How are you? Ja, how are you? Welcome. I haven't seen you. I got my women gamers around. Purple knows all of the celebrities. I don't know all the celebrities. I know enough. $50 is not cheap. $50 isn't cheap. But 20 isn't either. Especially for something I have nothing to show for. That's what I have to say on that, Sanchez. 50 is not cheap. I'm just saying, relatively speaking. I think, in Doc Dark, he's not in chat right now. But Doc Dark had this thing, he always has this thing. He's like, what's the best subscription in gaming? And we're going to talk about this. Because I think it depends what you define subscription in gaming as. You know what I mean? If you mean like purely Game Pass, well, there's only like Game Pass and PS Plus. But we're going to talk about this because I actually don't think either one is the best subscription gaming service. Or it not at least doesn't have the potential. And since we're on it, I guess I'll just spoil the surprise. I think Amazon gives you the most for your subscription. Now, granted, they're in an antitrust lawsuit and so forth and so on. I don't want to get into that, but think about it. They give you Luna, and if Luna is actually able to start doing this more with other companies, right? Ubisoft Plus, potentially we see something with Focus Entertainment, right? The people who did, oh my God, what's the one with all the rats? That one. I can't think of the name. But, they start making these deals with those types of companies, those types of publishers who have a lot of IP, kind of want to go on their own. That's pretty cool to play it then in the cloud wherever you want, and you don't have to pay anything for streaming. Plus, you get like free shipping. Let's not call it free shipping because Amazon Prime costs like $180 for me. So, but for $180, you'll get like the ability to stream. You'll get some free games here. You get like during the holiday season, you get free games. You get movies. You get, I think, also stuff with Audible. Like, yeah, you get like the most stuff. I don't know. Prove me wrong. I think Amazon has the best. Like when we talk about subscriptions, I think Amazon would be one of the last ones I get rid of. I'm asking, do you see different in Mirage than in GF? I don't, Holtz. I don't see anything different. For a game like Senate, I'm 47. I like digital maybe because it's worth. No, 7 I tell you. Yep, roster, that's it. Plague Tales, exactly, Ambi. Plague Tales is the one. Been playing with my new phone. What's the new phone, Ja? Talking about phones. Y'all know I am a Pixel fan. Pixel. I do the Pixel. And I think the Pixel is pretty cool. I actually do. This new Pixel does some really crazy stuff. But we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about mobile. We're going to talk about who has a mobile strategy in gaming, because we always hear about other groups and what they're doing and about their mobile strategy. So let's go to a company. Let's go to a company that supposedly has a mobile strategy in gaming. And this is none other than Microsoft. I want to talk about Microsoft right now because I don't think people actually are looking. Everybody says, well, Microsoft made this huge deal for ABK, for King, and that's why they did it. But I think this analysis kind of misses some things. Like they're like, yeah, and all these people who play like Candy Crush are going to become Game Pass subscribers and blah, 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 blah. I say, great. But let's put some reality to this, right? So I want to talk about those Candy Crush players because that's the gold mine, right? Here's why I don't think that's possible, right? And I know Microsoft's done the numbers, but it wouldn't be the first time Microsoft miscalculated on an acquisition. The vast majority of Candy Crush players do not pay for Candy Crush. I know, that's shocking. That's shocking. If you actually look at the number of players who pay for Candy Crush, it's roughly 12 million. That's a lot. Let me put that out there. That's a lot of players. 12 million. I don't want to take that away. But I also want to bring up something called the Pareto principle, right? Because so we don't know how many of these 12 million players actually, how much they use and how much they don't use. But the Pareto principle, which Pareto was an Italian mathematician, philosopher, so forth, he noticed this interesting trend, right? Pareto, back in the 18th century, noticed that 20% of the people pay 80% of the land taxes in Italy. Then he started to notice this same trend, this 20-80 trend, where 20% of people do 80% of the work, pay 80% of the taxes, and 80% do 20%. And you actually can see this. It basically holds steady across multiple things, like in the NBA. The top 20 highest paid players make 80% of the revenue. Like happens at multiple places. So if we take the Pareto principle, we can say that probably the top 20% of that 12 million actually does the majority of spending on Candy Crush. So what does that tell you? That says that the 80% really don't spend that much. So I don't really see them going to Game Pass. And then the other 20% who actually do spend a lot, well, they may go to Game Pass because they're getting a better deal. So why do I bring this up? Well, because I just don't necessarily see how this acquisition really makes sense in the current climate. That's why I bring it up. But supposedly they have a mobile strategy. But I'm not done. I can see Kubini right here. Did you hear the Best Buy news? Best Buy plans to exit the physical media business for good next year, possibly as soon as the end of Q. Best Buy? Best Buy's still around? I'm sorry. If someone works at Best Buy, I apologize. Walmart is 40% market share. I guess so. Y'all keep yes. So when we talk about, and I have y'all up here, so I see. So, but yeah, when we talk about a couple of other things, right? So when we talk about this mobile strategy, well, we talked about the numbers and we talked about the customer base, and let's see if they can actually grow that. I don't actually think you can, because where the mobile markets are growing, that's not really where ABK is big at. But let me tell you the biggest problem with Microsoft's mobile strategy, if that's what they really have. It's two words represent two companies: Google and Apple. Okay. Google and Apple are like, I'm not going to say they have a monopoly, but I'm going to say that no one else has anything in mobile besides those two. Right. And they are going to defend this turf like no other. Right. It's like when Stadia tried to come around, no gaming company was going to let Stadia exist. The same thing's going to happen with Google and Apple. Right. They are going to defend this turf. And on top of that, remember we talked about this right here? They already have mobile phones. They already have mobile stores. So how are you going to convince me that Microsoft, who has not really a mobile presence, doesn't have a mobile phone, is all of a sudden going to get millions and millions of mobile subscribers onto their gaming service? I just don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong. I see ya, Kabini. I see ya. I do like that Xbox. It's the only I do like that Xbox Series S that you have, that black one. It's not out yet. It's not out, but I do like it. Wait, it is out. Cammy got it, didn't she? I held the line, Purple. You held the line. I can't believe you set that, Kubini. It's not like having another option there would be a bad thing, though. I say let them go at it. Yes, let them go. I'm not saying that. Let me make that clear. I'm not saying don't go at it. I just know I'm going to be one of those shareholders who's going to be really pissed in about 2 to 3 years when Microsoft has showed me that they could have given me a dividend versus just buying ABK. But I digress. I'm going to let it play out the way it's going to play out. Because again, like I said, there's only so many gamers. But more importantly than only so many gamers, there's only so many gamers who are willing to pay money for games. And that's the truth. You know, there was something I was on Cowboy's stream earlier this week, and people were shocked to understand that they thought Call of Duty was like the granddaddy of them all of first-person shooters. And they were shocked that there were other first-person shooters that in some cases not only match Call of Duty's player count, but surpass it. And that's the thing. And in where those games are popular, guess what's also popular? Mobile gaming. So this is why I say, I don't know where Microsoft goes. Now, granted, I don't know if it really matters. Because unlike virtually every other gaming company, Microsoft can lose $1 billion and not really miss it. It is what it is. But that's all I got to say on that, right? Rest in peace, Activision. Tony Baloney, how are you? Chariot Man Gaming, how are you? Thank you for coming. Cammy, how are you? Just going and talking about my thoughts. You know, there's a lot of gaming stuff going on. You know, but let them go at it, as Severin said. I have no problem with that. Let them go do what they want to do. But again, I don't really have high hopes. I just don't. You know? Let me talk about another company that's maybe making a big investment in gaming. You know, that we haven't talked about, right? Like I said, I was going to go after them all. I'm going to talk about them all today. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk about the one company that I think can make an acquisition and does better with the acquisitions, has a history of doing better with their acquisitions than not. And I don't even know if it's a good deal for them to get into gaming right now. You know, that's right. I'm going after the mouse, Disney. So I don't know if y'all have been reading the reports, but Bloomberg, IGN, both were all reported that Disney, Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, is under pressure to buy a gaming company. Not any gaming company, but potentially EA. Yes, Jeff Janak's favorite gaming company, EA. That's who they're actually looking to buy. Do I think this makes sense? Nah, I don't think this makes sense. I mean, I think it makes sense more than the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. I'll say that much. I think it makes more sense than that. but I'm not too sure, right? It gives Disney solid revenue streams. Shout out to anybody who in chat who can tell me the number one money making EA IP, if you know who that is. But yeah, I'm not sure if it makes sense for Disney to jump into gaming right now. I mean, Disney Plus is really struggling, right? ESPN is really struggling. Hulu is really struggling. Disney theme parks just got more expensive. I don't know. I guess Disney has to do something different, right? But yeah, Disney would have some great IPs, but would it sell with their marketing? Exactly, Holtz. I don't know. Oh, you would think, are you talking about FIFA? I don't think I'm talking about FIFA, yo. I don't think I'm talking about FIFA on this one. Don't think I'm talking about FIFA. Crow Resin's in chat. He might know. Crow knows stuff like that. But yeah. It's we'll see. When I say it, y'all are gonna be like, oh, it's that game. Oh. NBA Easy. What is this? NBA what? NBA 2K? That's not an EA game. Sims? You're close. Y'all are getting close. I think you're right there, Mr. Abram Plays. I think you're right. The Sims. Crazy. The Sims. Who would have thought? But it is. But we think FIFA. What would that look like? Is there a Sims movie? I don't know. But I just bring this up because I think when we think about gaming, we always think about like gaming through this like small lens because those are the loud people. Those are console war people. Those are the people who miss the forest for the trees. Those are the people who believe every single move a gaming company makes is its final move, as if there's not a such thing as a piloting, right? Even me, right? I sometimes look at things and I'm like, why did they do that? And then I look at the long-term trend and I'm saying, that maybe makes sense. Disney, I don't know. They left gaming for a reason. To get back into gaming, I don't know. Game studios are pretty. Is Roblox second? Roster knows where we're going with this. Exactly. And so that to me, just another like one of those things. Told you I was going to talk about all of them. Don't really have too much about Disney. Y'all can tell me what you think in chat. I have you up here. Take a sticker shock at Best Buy. Woo! Sorry to hear. NBA 2K's top game on PS5. I was thinking, a top game on PS5. I don't even know what the top games are on PlayStation. But we're gonna get to PlayStation. PlayStation actually has a lot of news this week that I want to talk about. Console people aren't gamers; they are cheerleaders rooting for their team to win the game of public opinion on the internet. So they're fans. I think I could see that, but they're the ones who dominate the gaming social media space, and that's what people see. And I think that's why there's a disconnect between what people see and what the actual gaming news is. So yeah, let's go to the next company I have on my list. So we talked about Microsoft, we talked about Disney, we talked about Amazon. Let's go to Mr. Underworld's favorite company, none other than Facebook. Let's talk about Meta. Let's talk about potentially Game Pass being on Meta. The Quest 3, whatever it's called. The thing you put over your head. The thing I don't think people are just going to run out and go buy. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who are really excited about VR and AR and all the other Rs. Purple's not one of them. I just don't see it. Like, I just don't see where it is currently in its current form today being something that is going to be remotely exciting tomorrow. Now, maybe next year. And when I say next year, I really mean like in a decade. And when I say tomorrow, I really mean like over the next 5 years. But I don't know. Game Pass is on Quest 3. Maybe I buy. No, you wouldn't, Kubini. No, you wouldn't, Kubini. I know you would not buy that. Then we have Dylan. There being the vocal annoying children control the narrative. That's exactly right. But the vocal annoying children control every narrative. Every narrative. That's why I wanted to do a talk. Because I see the annoying children controlling the narrative, but it's not really rooted in anything. You know what I mean? It's not really like logical. So the one group I don't really see vocal and annoying is Quest 3 players. I feel like all VR players are together on this. Like, I think all VR players are like, hopefully we get some significance. But I don't know. I just don't see people doing this enough. I think what would take VR to the next level is like you need like a totally different, like it needs to go in a totally different direction than where it's going right now. Like you need like a totally different player, like from a totally different part of the world to give us something extremely different than what we are currently seeing. Because where we're currently going, I just don't see it. It just seems like it's kind of like cool technology, but I don't really know what it answers. When you have a technology, a gaming technology, or you have a new product, it needs to answer something. It needs to answer some type of need. And not only does it need to answer something, it has to be much better than the alternatives before it. And when it comes to VR and AR, I don't know in a gaming space what it answers. Yes, is it cool? Great. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yes, I saw some people doing a fighter jet thing. Rudix and Doragon were talking about this. Super cool. Like, but is it something I'm just gonna like put on my head? No. I'm not gonna do it. Upgrading a PC. We're gonna talk about upgrading PCs here because the next company I want to talk to about, I think, has an interesting angle on this. Holds, I know you have VR. How many devices would need to be sold for a VR console to be a household name? How many consoles? I don't even think it's how many consoles would need to be sold. I'm telling you, it needs just like a totally different direction, Mr. Urban World. Like the fact that we're calling it virtual reality, no, we needed something totally different. And then the people who know game will be like, oh, that's VR technology. But it just needs to be a totally different experience than what it is right now. Let's see what Severin has. With an estimated global user penetration of 1.3% in 23, VR headsets are still a seriously small consumer group. When I look up VR market share, this is the first result I found. Of course, who wrote this article? I'm just telling you, like, there's something you can just see with, like, when you experience it, right? It's not like electric cars. Like when I remember when Teslas first rolled off, right? Actually, let's go even further back. Like, let's go to the hybrid cars. Like when they first rolled off the lot, you're like, they're cool, but they looked like the Toyota. I can't think, whatever that Toyota hybrid that's really like small and ugly. They all look like that. So you're like, yo, if that was like a sexier car, like maybe I would get it. And then Tesla came out and everybody's like, it kind of looks weird. But then you saw how fast Tesla could go. And then how quiet it was and how smooth of a ride it was. And then you have car owners being like, yo, that's cool. So you see, like, Toyota was over here, and you would have thought Toyota, a Japanese company, would have been the right company to do a car. But then out of nowhere, an American car company that had never been heard of called Tesla just changed the market. When you said American car company in the mid-2000s, let me tell you what came to your mind. First, if you remembered the Ford Firestone tire debacle from the 90s. Then in the mid-2000s, you remember GM's parts recall and the debacle that was. So the fact that you now had a Toyota Tesla EV that has like, I don't know, 20 parts or something crazy like that. That totally changed up the game. It wasn't anything different. That's what VR needs. The people who are currently dabbling in VR right now probably aren't the people who are going to take it forward. That's what I mean by that. Prius, yes, the ugly Prius. But VR isn't a new thing and have been around for a while now, though. Exactly. Severin, I'm not lying. That's why I'm saying whatever direction that people have been, like the direction it's going is building off of the same stuff that's not working. That's why I'm saying it needs to go in totally different direction. Like, I don't know what it is, but what it is, like right now, I just don't have any faith in it. Mr. Urban Roll was so excited. He sent me this thing today, this AR thing. And I was excited. I was like, that's cool. But you want to know what? That's not something I'm going to do for more than like 30 minutes. And that's giving it probably 28 more minutes than I actually would play it. And I like games. I like technology. But I just don't see it. Like, I think in order for VR to be a thing, like, we're all adults here. You're gonna need to have it to where VR could literally give you sexual intercourse. Not joking. If you can do that, where someone can literally get off on putting a VR headset on and feeling themselves, that will take off. Then you will get people in a VR world. You can't do that right now. Like, I can see something, but that's like, I'm just telling you, like, it would need something like that. Something totally different. That's using tech, like, just a totally different direction. You know how many, that would be so fast. You want me to tell you who would be the number one group of people who would go get this headset? I'm going to tell you. Nursing homes. Dead serious. That's what I'm saying. Totally different direction, totally different market, something we wouldn't even thought of. That is what will make VR take off. It does, Kubini, but it exists, but it doesn't exist to where you can just do it yourself. Like, you would still need some other type of simulation. I'm saying where you can just put it on, like put on a suit, do something, and it's just like does it all for you. That's what I mean. Y'all say it's already there. It's not there. Because I don't see Green Gables nursing home down the street putting this stuff on. I'm telling you, I don't see it. Have you ever talked to a lonely older person? Have you? No, Mr. Urban World, if that's the case, then you need to go market it. Because if you don't talk to a lonely person, you'll be like, man, you really need to go get laid again. Like that's what you would tell them. You know what I mean? You're like, man, all your problems, just go get effed. Just go do that. So maybe they are marketing it wrong. Because Green Gables needs VR. If it can do that. But I don't think it can do it like I'm saying to do it. I don't think it can, like, you know what I mean? Like, where you just have, like, different, like, where VR takes the Kama Sutra and just turns it upside down. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that. I'm telling you, it doesn't. But, yeah, Obi Rose, you'll be surprised that, maybe not. Top places for STD outbreaks? The Village in Florida. I didn't. It's just, it is what it is. People have needs. And needs have people. No, I'm not saying a holographic girl I'm saying like a holographic, like for a dude or a chick or whoever, like a holographic thing that you can just get whatever you want from it. That's what I'm talking about. The way you want it. They don't have that. I'm telling you, they don't have that. The church would be in an uproar. You know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, no one's gonna have kids anymore. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this thing would save marriages. You know what I mean? Like Go to like a couples therapy. That's what I'm saying. Like something totally different. You take it to like couples therapy, and the therapist says, "Put this on." All right, now go at it. And then in a heteronormative couple, she thinks she's doing like her partner's doing something to her, and he thinks she's doing something to him, but they're doing something different for each other, right? And then we can analyze that. Be like, see, that's the reason why. That's the reason why y'all are in this situation, because y'all aren't having sex the right way. That we don't do that. That's what's gonna make VR go up. But I don't know. Prove me wrong. Create it. Here's the deal. Y'all create it. Y'all show me it. Y'all create it. Save some. It will, David Wilson. It's not the same thing, but it's gonna save some. It may end others. Maybe that's a net gain. But you want to know what? Sometimes there's what is it? Crack a couple of shells to make an omelet. Maybe that's not the right one. Maybe that's not the right one. Yep, in 6 days, that's what it was. He was getting a lap dance and unzipped from her. Did the VR headset unzip him? Or did he have to unzip himself? I'm saying where it physically touches you. That's why I'm saying it's gonna have to be like a suit. Like it's gonna have to be like a scuba suit. You put it on, but it's like all sensors and stuff. But that's what I say with Facebook. You know, I got all the companies. I'm going to talk about more companies, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I say like Facebook can't do it. It's going to have to be someone else who's not under regulatory pressure. It's going to have to be a totally different company that just says, put this suit on. You're going to get it. You're going to have it your way. So that's what it is. I know Remy. Remy's down here. Remy's down here getting excited. But let's go on to the next company, because I said I was going to go to another company because we talked about updating your PC. So I'm going to talk about a company that I think, you know, last year around this time, we cried for it because we said, you're leaving gaming. But I think the company is actually just refocusing. None other than Big G Google. Well, we already talked a little bit about Google's mobile empire, if you will. They're going to protect that like no other. We haven't really ever talked about YouTube playables on this channel. But I think that has like I think that is actually, if they can land that correctly, that would be really interesting. Here's the reason why. Because I feel like gaming is becoming, it's becoming both easier and harder to make a game. So when I look at a game like Cyberpunk, big ambitious game, let's use Baldur's Gate 3. Ambitious game, lots of stuff, took forever. Holt says it can't be done, so forth and so on. True. Long time. But then I look at another game. My goodness, I'm losing all my names right here. The game I streamed on I streamed it like in July, and I only streamed it once. It's a Sony PlayStation exclusive. Well, it's on PC as well. It's on Steam. My goodness, Ember. It's from Ember Labs. Why can't I think of this name? Coma. Either way, that game. Bridge of Spirits. That's the one. That game didn't take as many people. I think there's a way to make really good experiences with small teams. And I think it's going to get easier and easier with AI. Some games are going to get harder and harder. Kena Bridge of Spirits. Thank you, Wit and Holt. Thank you. That's the one. And so, if you can do YouTube playables, and they're trying to get it to where basically anybody can publish a game on YouTube and play it right there, then that actually has the ability to be like video on demand. What is he barking about? He's doing his thing where he's just barking and staring at the floor. What's going on? I'm talking about, That's what he did to it, guys. What he did. No more. This little Remy. He decided not to do it anymore. That's what happens. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. So I think YouTube has the ability to get back into the game. I think the one issue I had a lot of issues with. Well, I didn't have a lot. I had some issues with Stadia. One of those issues is that I thought that you still had to go into Stadia. You still had to log into Stadia. And I don't know if that. And I always thought that was going to hold Stadia back. But if you could just like go in and just like click on something to play, that I think that could get more people gaming. Oh my goodness. I may have to go get him a treat here pretty soon. He does it. If he keeps up here in a couple of minutes, y'all, I'm gonna have to like pause it, go get him a treat. But yeah, he's something. Kubini, it's gonna happen tomorrow. I'm not worried. I told y'all. ABK is gonna happen tomorrow. But yeah, that's what I think with Google. I think Google, but also one other thing with Google. And Kubini brought this up earlier, where he said he needed to update his PC. And so I wanted to ask Kubini, this is to you, for your PC and everybody else who upgrades their PC, why don't you get a gaming Chromebook? And Kubini, you play GFN, so why not get a gaming Chromebook? Something where you can actually play. You don't necessarily need to upgrade the parts, and it still gives you a great visit. It's still like a great experience. So just so you know, I played, what was I playing? Death Stranding. I guess not the greatest game, but it was cool. I was on a Chromebook and I was playing it. And I was like, why would no one want to do this? It's like $400. And it ran beautifully. Kroger's aren't as compatible with as many apps, are they? Well, it gets GFN, gaming Chromebook. Gets GFN, gets Game Pass, gets Luna. Like, if you have GFN, you have like 1,600 like things. I was actually thinking, because I just finished a game, David. I was thinking about actually streaming from my Chromebook this weekend. It's i5 1050 Ti 15-inch. I think it's good, but you were saying that you have to upgrade it, Kubini. That's why I said. No problem, Jaw. And so that's why I was saying, you said like, hey, I have to upgrade my PC. So that's why I just asked. I wasn't trying to pick on you. You just so happened to be the one who said you were updating it. And I was like, well, if you're PC gaming, especially because you have a gaming laptop, it sounds like, why not go with a gaming Chromebook? A lot cheaper, gives you the same visually. Just curious on that one. And even if it's not a gaming Chromebook, you just can get like a monitor in the Chromebook. You're done. So just something for anybody who's out there looking at gaming stuff. And if you're already doing like a GFN, right? Like if you're looking at like gaming, why not look there? And the reason I say this is because if you look in the American school system, I'm not going to look at other school systems. The American school system, the number one operating system in American school systems, whether you're talking private, public, charter, or anything in between, homeschool, across the board is Chrome OS. And so what that tells me is similar to like Windows, because like back in the 80s, you didn't really have Windows. Like I remember the Apple IIe back in school. And then what happened was Windows became like the thing that we would use in schools. And then about 10 years later, that's like where you see this like PC revolution in gaming. And so I think we're kind of in the midway point of that, where the younger generation is a little bit less attached to Windows, especially for gaming, especially when you think that you have to continue to update things such as the graphics card, the CPU, and so forth to get the best gaming experience. And if you kind of think about the next 5 years and so forth, and we already see what GFN is doing, and I already told you that Luna looked really good in what I was looking at, and Chromebooks are already cheaper, wouldn't it just make sense to go with a Chromebook? I don't know. Well, let me see what you got. I have a Ryzen F360 3632 grip. Woo! I think, no, I'm saying it's great. I'm saying it's great, Kubini. You were the one who said you had to update it. I think you have a great thing. Um, it's not there for playing local. I agree. But I'm saying for streaming. And a lot of games people are only playing online. And so this is really for the people, Stadia people who are like, hey, I'm home, and they want to and they want to stream, right? The people who are already on GFN, um, like I don't understand. Like if you're on GFN and you're upgrading your PC, um, I don't know. Like why wouldn't you just? That's the question, Rouster, for me. We're looking at PCs recently too. I wanted to consider a Chromebook for programming, but I also want to use it for work. And the lack of compatibility with other programs really makes it hard to consider. True. Depends on what do you do. Well, congratulations on your job, David Wilson. Congratulations. I want to say that. But I think it depends on what you do, right? I think a lot of companies actually use Chrome. Depends on what you're doing. But I could see Google, we were talking about gaming and Google. What I could see Google actually doing is something similar to Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft 30 years ago, really. And that is slowly getting people used to Chromebooks. And then once you can make a Chromebook compatible with gaming, it just takes off. And I guess depending on how you game, it's already compatible with the way you game. So I think that's what I look. Laptops have never performed well for me when gaming. I avoid them for gaming, so Chromebook would not work for my needs. All right, that's fair. It's fair, Crow. It's fair. It's fair. Actually, I want to see Clive. Clive has been dealing with like one of the top gaming laptops. I actually want to see what his opinion is on gaming laptops. But yeah, I think Google is still in it. I think Google still has a very dominant position in mobile. I think mobile is going to increase. I think that they're making their investment in mobile gaming through this thing, right? I think the Pixel right now is really powerful, and I think it's a hopscotch. It's super easy to switch on gaming on here. Like everybody was making a big deal about AAA games on the iPhone. I think the Pixel could actually outperform it, and as these become more in the market, bigger market share. They have the Chromebook situation, which I already told you. I think the younger generation is more compatible. Is going to be using. Well, they are using Chromebooks more and more. And I think as Chromebooks become more widely used, I think you could see Google stepping up in the gaming space again. And again, I think YouTube is actually doing something pretty unique where they didn't create the video on demand genre or business model, but I definitely think they were leaders in it. And I think gaming on demand could be a thing, like where people can just get their game out there in the wild. Kind of like how content creators, like if you had said 20 years ago that there were going to be like content creators with millions and millions of subscribers who are making more money than the biggest TV celebrities, you couldn't fathom it, right? And I think gaming companies in the future, you're going to probably see games that very small groups of people putting together, but an amazing production and people just finding that really interesting. So when we talk about big publishers, I don't even know if the big publishers are really, they're going to still make things, but I think the next 10 years sees the rise of the mega indie studios. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Google, y'all. That's my thoughts on Google. I told you I was going to hit them all. If we're going to talk about Google, we might as well go with Apple. I think Apple, similar to Google, has a really big mobile market. Obviously, I think probably the only company I think that could make VR more exciting in its current state than it is Apple. But even then, I don't think it's going to be a success. I just don't. Same reasons for Facebook. But the thing with Apple is I actually think Apple has the capability to make a really good AAA game. I wouldn't have said that 3 years ago, by the way. But I think Apple, what do they call it? Apple Plus? Apple TV? The thing with Apple where you can go in and it's a subscription, you watch TV shows. I think it actually has the capability to be something Like there are Emmy nominated shows on that, right? So I think they definitely could do a game. Um, the question is, would they do it in mobile? Would they try to shore up that market even further? Or would they try to create something on Apple TV, like the little hockey puck thing? And that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Now that we talked about Apple, Google, and Microsoft, this is the other thing I think that's like people got super excited about Microsoft. They said, hey, Microsoft could create this little device that connects to your TV, and you could go from your phone to your TV and play. It could be a AAA game. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Besides the fact that like Microsoft doesn't have this device yet. No one's even bought this device yet. And oh, by the way, Apple and Google already have devices that can do that. So again, I just don't see Microsoft's strategy playing out well. But that's just me. It's just me. Maybe it's not. Maybe it happens. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, I think Apple's going to be a big player. And as mobile AAA game, if that ever becomes a thing, Apple will continue to grow their market share. Why? Because they already have the install base. They already have people who are in their ecosystem. They already have people who are playing games on their phone. They already make a ton of money from people playing games on their phone. It just makes sense that as gaming on phones become a thing, the incumbent players with phone gaming stuff are just going to become bigger. That's how I see it. Game Pass app on my Roku TV would be awesome. Why only Samsung at the moment? I don't know. Ask Microsoft. But actually, it's not that great of a thing on Samsung. I'm not gonna lie, Kubini. So I think I showed you. I got like that TV right there. I bought that last year. It's a Samsung. It's a QLED. And I bought that to game with all these different things because they were like, "Oh, it could do it." I'm gonna tell you, it's not. It wasn't the best experience. GFN was. Stadia wasn't. I didn't like it as much on Stadia, but it was okay. Luna was okay. Luna's better now. Like I said, Luna and GFN, I couldn't tell the difference on the TV. But Game Pass really wasn't. Like Game Pass and Black Nut were like at the same level. And that's I don't know if that's a good thing for Black Nut and a bad thing for Game Pass, but they were at the same level. And so I don't know. I don't know if you're missing anything there, Kubini. Not gonna lie. I want an external device as it takes up power and HDMI. They would be smart to create a client app for loading devices. They could do that too, right? I mean, you do have Apple right now. You need an external device. Google YouTube TV comes on certain TVs. Samsung has their own OS on TVs, and so does Sony. So maybe the external devices are going away. I wouldn't doubt that happening. If that were to happen, I think Apple is in trouble, right? Because that means Apple has to open up its kind of like walled off garden, and that's where you have to give kind of leaning towards Samsung. Oh, by the way, it is called the Samsung Gaming Hub, and or Google to be kind of the bigger player at that point. So, I don't know. Is it just xCloud 1080 60 would need HDR and Dolby Vision? Yes. I don't even know. It didn't even get to that. Like, I wish it was something like that. But it was like, the lag was really bad. Visually, it was really bad. And I was playing Ori. And it was just a bad experience. And then I tried to play Forza, bad experience, like couldn't drive. Like I was trying to play the Microsoft, like the games that you would think would run well, and it just wasn't a good experience. Like I don't think it was really anything at the moment. So maybe you do want something with Roku, but I will just tell you with Samsung, it wasn't doing it for me. Is your TV hardwired? Is Rouster. It is both hardwired. GFN will not actually open up if I do it through. It's the thing I don't like about GFN. GFN will not open up on my TV unless it's hardwired. I don't know why. I have one terabyte up, 1 terabyte down. Or 1 gigabyte. 1 terabyte. 1 gigabyte up, 1 gigabyte down. And it wouldn't work, even though I think the devices only can take 200, 250 at max at any given time. Wouldn't do it. Hey! YouTube movies can play 4K Dolby Vision now on TVs without externals. But can they do 4K Dolby Atmos? That's what I want. I want 4K Dolby Atmos. Y'all know I like my sound. I don't think they can do that. Hey, Cowboy, what's going on? We were talking about your show from earlier this week, actually, just recently. And I'm going through each gaming company and what I think about all the different gaming companies. So we talked about, got out the way because it's going to happen tomorrow. We talked about Microsoft. We talked about Facebook. We talked about Luna. We talked about Apple. We talked about Disney. So while we're talking about it, let's talk about Netflix. I think Netflix is... I think they're scrambling. Like, pray, if y'all want Netflix gaming to do well, pray for them over the next 18 months. Because I think they've stalled a little bit. It takes a while to create a AAA game, but I think they've stalled. I like the fact that they had Spiritfarer as a mobile game. I really like the fact that they have Valiant Hearts. I really like the fact that they were going in the AAA gaming direction. But I feel like they had some momentum, and it's really kind of like petering right now. There needs to be some more excitement. Like, they need to like bring like a AAA type of, not a AAA, a multiplayer type of experience. So what I'm thinking about is Among Us. Like, there needs something for people who are casual gamers to go in that direction. And I just don't see it right now, right? Like, and that really sucks, because I think Netflix is probably one of the more creative American companies. I want to see them do well, but I just don't see what they're doing. Actually, I have more excitement for YouTube playables than I do for Netflix gaming. And that's saying something, because if you're seeing YouTube playables, it ain't a lot to brag about. But for the constant console, yeah, we just talk about the content, Cowboy. We didn't do that. Has been thank you, Kubi. I'm just talking about stuff, getting thoughts out, and y'all are giving me great ideas and feedback. Trying not to just try and give you my gaming knowledge, what I see in the gaming, and kind of a pulse check on where all the gaming companies are, all the big players, who's going to be a big player. So we talked about, so that's Netflix, right? I think they can do it. They've won the streaming wars. I'm hoping they can do well in gaming. I really would like to, you know what would really be great on Netflix? Like something similar to that game Erica, or the game I showed y'all before that was like, like it's like a real movie, but it's like a gaming technology. Dark Pictures anthology. Netflix needs something like that. And until they get it, I have to think that this might have been a really big investment for nothing. But who knows? Who knows? Netflix is a wild card. I don't have really an opinion on it, but right now, like, if you asked me last year, I was kind of really excited about them. I'm less excited about them now. So that's Netflix. The next company I want to talk about is NVIDIA. GeForce Now. I know we have some. I have NVIDIA. I told you I tested it out. I tested Assassin's Creed Mirage on both NVIDIA GeForce Now as well as Amazon Luna. Could not tell the difference, and therefore I think that there is a threat there from Luna to NVIDIA GeForce Now. But I'm not gonna lie. I think NVIDIA's. I think they have the best experience to see like the best visually in gaming on the cloud. Like, if you want to experience the best visual graphics in gaming, and you have a computer or you have a TV that plays GeForce Now, go do it. It's going to cost you, though, right? It's going to cost you. But I think that's the best experience. to get into like playing a game. But then again, you need kind of like a high speed internet. So maybe it's not the best experience. Maybe it's not the most affordable. But I think their model is actually in danger. I think that all the major gaming companies could drastically undercut GFN. And that's why I'm afraid of GFN. Because GFN is only a service. And it's a service that relies on another company's games or another company's library. And to me, that's just a middleman. And if you want to become revolutionary, if you want to do something usually in business that takes market share, you get rid of the middleman, right? Think about it. Like YouTube, they got rid of the idea of the publisher. So now you just have people who can take the thing onto YouTube and play and make their own video, and you can watch it. You don't need to go through a channel. You don't need to go through like a broadcasting or cable. It's right there. Amazon, right? They took away the idea of needed all these middle people to do all your logistics to get from the customer's product, the product of the company to the customer. Amazon's automated it all. They just totally changed up the supply chain. And so when I think about gaming, that's the problem with GFN. GFN is a great middleman. But if anyone can get rid of them, they're in trouble, right? And I don't even know how successful GFN is. Like, they never talk about it in their earnings reports. They when it came to the ABK trial deal, it seemed like GFN was like, yo, of course we want it. It lowers our costs. Why would we not? It just tells me that GFN might be still in a pilot and experiment phase. We'll see. Oh, I see there. I can't see 490. Y'all actually, I cannot see 490, 3080. I can't see the difference. I can hardly see the difference between a 1080 and 4K graphics. Like I don't know. Maybe I should wear my glasses more so y'all can see that I'm like not. I cannot see. But I struggle with seeing. That's why I said I can hear it. That's why I like Dolby Atmos and stuff, but I can't see. Can't see it. GFN has upset me with Microsoft sign in on TVs as it forgets my password and all is squashed. I don't know. Like I said, it's a middle person. And I'm gonna talk to y'all who I believe is the company here. I've mentioned this company before. I'm going to talk to y'all who I believe can get rid of the middle person. I'm going to tell y'all who I think is actually really, really going to step up the game in the next 18 months in gaming. So where I was last year with Netflix, that's where I am with this company. None other than Nintendo. You knew I was going there. You knew I was going to talk about them. But I think Nintendo is actually in a really good spot. Let me give you a little fact here. Nintendo has been able to maintain their profit margins on games this year. No other company can say that, right? They sold more IP of Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom surpassed Breath of the Wild. And people can be like, yeah, but no one's playing it. I don't care. 20 million copies sold. It's crazy. Well, let me tell you what's also crazy. Now, Room Mamba, he gives me a little hard time on this. Pikmin 4. Do y'all realize that Pikmin 4 nearly sold 1 million copies? Hard copies. I'm not even talking digital. Hard copies in Japan. Pikmin 4 most likely sold more gaming copies than Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 combined. And on top of that, do you know what Nintendo's coming out with next week? Super Mario Wonder. You want to know what else Nintendo's coming out with? Paper Mario. I don't even like Paper Mario. I know Severin likes it. Severin, I'm not trying to start anything. I know you like that. But Nintendo is doing really well. On top of that, they have over 40 million people who play Nintendo subscription service. Because I think if you're going to do a subscription service, it has to be an add-on to the games you already have. I think Nintendo has that right. You know what I mean? Uh-oh. Can y'all still hear me? Oh, there goes the music. It stopped. Got kind of nervous there. So I don't know. But then that's not all that Nintendo has, right? And the Peach game. Oh my gosh, I think TK9 is going to buy like 4 of those. So yeah, not even 1 million copies sold in Japan of Pikmin. Yeah, actually, which I would find out. How do you find that odd, Severin? Pikmin 4's only sold like 3 million copies total. All the Pikmin combined has only sold 3 million copies total. How do you find 1 million copies? That's hard copy. I'm not saying digital, just hard copy. That's a huge success for Pikmin. Pikmin's not a big IP. If Pikmin reaches over 5 million sales total worldwide, that's huge. It's like twice as much as all the other Pikmin combined. Just huge for an IP that hasn't been launched in like 11 years. No. Million is a lot. 1 million is a lot. So I never heard of Pikmin for this channel. Really, Roster? Exactly. Well, exactly. And they're selling millions. That's what Nintendo did this year. On top of the Mario movie. He's behind me. On top of launching Nintendo World in the United States. On top of, but next year, we're getting the Switch successor. I don't want to call it Switch 2 because it's going to probably be called something else. And I don't want people to be like, oh, it's not called the Switch 2. So it's going to probably be called something else. But they pretty much invented the hybrid handheld market. They didn't invent it, but they really made it popular. I get it. The Nomad. I get it. I know. And your mama knows this. Go talk to me about the Nomad. I gotcha. But Nintendo made it a thing. Mario movie got beat by Barbie, though. It should have got beaten by Barbie. I mean, this is like comparing, like, I don't know, Mario's cool, but Barbie's like the Taylor Swift of toys. Like, you're gonna get beat. You know? Hats off to Mattel. I'm just saying Mario was in the conversation. You know what I mean? The fact that they were in the conversation. I remember the first Mario movie. The fact that Mario's even in the conversation, I think it's a success. Doesn't matter. Mario did very well. Yeah. That's true, Mark. I mean, Barbie's been around. Mario, and speaking about Mario Wonder, and you already know I talked about Nintendo here, and I told you what I thought about it, and I think that they're going to be the big one because I think they're on a roll. I think they have the momentum right now. And I think they're going to come out with the Switch 2. And if the Switch 2 is even close to the power of a PS4/Xbox One, I'm not even saying the upgrade. If it's even close to that, and then you add on cloud gaming, which is if it's just close to like what Stadia gave us, like, game over. Like honestly, it's like game over. Like, sure, there's going to be IP on other platforms and game where you want a game, and other platforms are going to have their stuff, but that's going to be hard to beat. And I think that's kind of what Bobby Kotick told us Nintendo was going to be. It's kind of what the leaks are saying. There's a reason why, and I was saying this on Cowboy's channel, there's a reason why we're starting to see publishers who have never worked with Nintendo work with Nintendo right now. Right? They're not just think about it. They're not just throwing their IP on a 7th year dead console. They're starting a relationship because obviously they see something big there. I'm just telling you. Nintendo is people talk about first party studios, they need to put out 3 games a year. Nintendo's going to put out 5 this year. Maybe even more. I haven't even counted all of them. I think they're about to let us remember the late 80s, early 90s. That's all I'm going to say. But that brings me to my another gaming company in the state of play or where they are at. And that's Sony. And I think Sony over the last few months has really shown us the direction they're going. And this is where we talked about the best subscription service, and I told you I think Amazon Prime is like the best gaming service just because you get so many other things with it. And I think Sony added a lot of value to their gaming service. Don't get me wrong, Microsoft has way more games. And I get it. When we say gaming service, it's only games, but I think these things are starting to meld all together. It's an entertainment service, right? Because if I'm not watching a game, I'm probably reading a book, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm watching a TV show, right? And so who has the IP for TV shows? Netflix. So that's why I was super excited, but I said they kind of slowed down. Disney, are they going into gaming? We talked about that earlier. Maybe, maybe not. But Sony can really actually bring it together. And that's why I'm excited about them. Then y'all were talking about Crunchyroll. They throw that on there. I mean, yeah, it'll be a little bit of like kind of like illusion of how many subscribers are on their service, but at the end of the day, what matters? I mean, you have so many subscribers who can see video games and play their video games. It's about that ecosystem, and it's about that network effect. And I think that's why right now I continue to think Xbox, they're buying subscribers, but I don't know if they have a really solid strategy. I think they have a philosophy. I don't know if they have the strategy to make that happen. That's where I think when I look at these other ecosystems, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Apple, Sony, like they actually have things where they can bring it together because it's a lot closer of a link to bring together. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Microsoft doesn't have half the amount of games as PlayStation Plus. I don't know. I don't have PlayStation Plus. I want to tell. I just know that I thought everybody tells me Game Pass has a ton of games. Nintendo keep not cheap. Nintendo keep not cheap. What's that mean? They're selling right now, but they aren't exciting at the moment. Yeah, but PlayStation Plus has no day and date games really, and most of the stuff in the service you already played before. Wait, Game Pass does too, but they also release new stuff. That's what I'm saying. So that's where, like, so if you wanted to increase the value, what can game? How do you increase value, right? And I mentioned this about getting rid of the middleman. Like that's if you're introducing a new product, you're trying to do something revolutionary, disruptive. If you think about what disruption does, it just removes like something in the equation. When I think about the value add for Microsoft, yes, if you can get Call of Duty, if you're a Call of Duty player, that's great. If you can play Diablo, that's solid. And maybe that's enough. And if you can somehow get Candy Crush players to start playing console games or PC, maybe I think those are just totally different markets. But when you think about just in general, I'm not talking about the hardcore gamers. I'm just talking about the more like gamers in general, people who spend money on entertainment. I think Sony has something there where they have multiple dominant positions in multiple areas that if they were to bring it together, if they could do it, I'm not saying they can't. Right? That's the one thing you're not hearing me saying. I'm just saying they could. They could really run the tables in the entertainment industry. And that's what I mean. I just don't see another company. Entertainment is broader, right? Broader than just gaming, but all in one house. Disney, like we talked about it earlier, they need stuff. Apple needs stuff. Microsoft has probably more shortcoming. Microsoft's really went really deep in one vertical. I think they would have benefited by kind of branching out. Netflix, you see they're trying to build up. Google probably wants to be the person who just holds like the platform, like they do the back end. I think that's what Google does. Nintendo, I told you, Nintendo, as far as pure gaming, is like if you can have a system that can have more mature games on it and gives you your lovable fun games and family games, but also can go up to that more mature content, and then also can give you the ability to play a lot of different places due to their cloud abilities, then you would have to think that Sony's really not. I don't think Sony's really concerned about Microsoft, to tell you the truth. I would have to think they're concerned about Nintendo. And I know that, and that sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but bear with me on this one. Maybe I'm going off on the deep end. When you're a company, and y'all who work for companies, and you're introducing new products and you're doing things, you emulate who you think is a threat, right? You emulate the ones you think are doing the most, could encroach on your business. And this is the thing with YouTube. YouTube could have easily put games in YouTube, right? YouTube could have easily put Stadia in YouTube. But you kind of can tell who YouTube finds as a threat, right? YouTube finds TikTok as a threat. That's why they created Shorts. YouTube finds Twitch as a threat. That's why they gave content creators different ways to monetize. YouTube finds Netflix as a threat. That's why they've started putting games into their service, right? So when you look at that, that's who YouTube finds as the threat. They're emulating them. They're trying to maintain their dominant position. Sony hasn't really emulated Microsoft. You know, when we look at the hardware that they've done, they haven't really done it. We've seen the emails from Microsoft that Microsoft is more, and maybe that's just translation, so we never saw the emails from YouTube or from Sony. But Sony's creating this handheld portable device. Microsoft doesn't have that. Who does? Nintendo, Acer, Asus, like all of them have it. So obviously they're exploring in that direction. When we look at the subscription service, they're always pricing their stuff. They're leading the pricing changes. And when we look at the remote play, the cloud capabilities, they were doing that first, right? When we look at just in general, the trend, Sony usually does it for like, they're chasing something else. And that's why I continue to think that this battle between Sony and Microsoft, it's just not there. I think people like to compare them because they're both big console platforms, but I just think they're totally different. I think Microsoft is trying to chase Google and Apple, and I think Sony's trying to compete and stay ahead of Nintendo. It just so happens that they're kind of in this one area and they do overlap and they fight some skirmishes, but they're just vectors going in different directions. That's my thought. But I don't know. Brings me to the PS5. A lot of Sony stuff coming out today. Let's see what Severin said. PlayStation Plus loses 1.9 million subscribers since June relaunch. Actually, according to PC Mag, it lost subs when it did the relaunch or rework, whatever you want to call it. 1.9 still has quite over 40 million, you know. Could be pricing, could be a lot of things. I think it's just one data point and a long one, right? I continue to say Netflix Game Pass is about to show 10 million new subscribers because they got rid of Xbox Gold. It's now Game Pass. And I think as PlayStation continues to alter their subscription model, they're going to continue to try to build upon the multiple subscription models they have and combine that all to one. And then cross-sell across that consumer base. Same with Nintendo. right? I think this is why I think Nintendo's going to have backwards compatibility. It's because they already have 130 million players. So why not just maintain those players? It's all about the consumers you have and making sure you continue to have those consumers. Um, because there's a finite amount of those people. But we'll see. More after they announced the price increase too, so they haven't grown, they have declined. That's not good. Services aren't the piece, but it doesn't, like, that's a service, right? But they still are selling PlayStation 5s at an incredible clip, right? Let's not forget that Microsoft has made this about services recently. But I think Sony's not doesn't need to, but I think they will, right? Because I think again, they see it's not Game Pass they're trying to compete against. I think we've kind of plateaued in the number of subscribers we have. I also think the number of people, when you're trying to do a comparable against 2021 versus 2022 versus 2023, what we know is that there was an increased number of gamers in 20 and 2021 because of the pandemic. Therefore, this is coming down to the mean. Is what it is. It's not necessarily saying the service is bad or not. But when you think about that future where there is no pandemic, people are not at home, you're going to go again on that trend line that's gradually going up. But the big thing here is Nintendo, the new whatever's getting launched next year. I think that is actually going to change the market. Yeah, and I call it Nintendo Keep. I think that's why I think Microsoft has the better service and PS is the better traditional console gaming. I think that's a fair assessment to make. Yeah, maybe. Again, I think when I talk about services, I think potentially, let's say potentially, I think in a point in time, that's what I would say. I'm not sure how much better Microsoft can make their service, but I can see where Nintendo and where Sony, where Amazon, I can see where all of them can make YouTube, can make all their things better. I just don't see. I think Microsoft has reached, like, where else do you go from here? Here's a great example. Like when we do a pricing model, like when I was a consultant way back when in my private job and we would do pricing models, it's the same thing in gaming. You charge a premium up front and then over time you cut the costs, right? And why are you trying to do that? It's because you're trying to maximize the profitability at the front end. Okay. And then you gradually dwindle it down. And that's the gaming market. So when you charge a price, when you're a business, you're really dealing with the revenue side of things, and that's driving the profitability. But the same thing happens if you look at the cost side of things, which is if you're trying to increase profitability, you start off with the most cost up front and then you gradually cut cost. And that's where I feel Microsoft right now, it's a point in time. And maybe that point shows Microsoft's better for some people. I've already told you, I think Amazon has the better option with what they can provide. That's what I said earlier. But yeah, maybe I'll go with your thing. Kind of debating it in my head. A service gets better as more value added. All of these acquisitions do add to their service. I don't think PlayStation has the money to make moves like that, but their games sell so they don't have to. Depends if you play games, right? It depends on how you use them. I feel that here's a great thing. Netflix. Is Netflix more valuable today than it was? Is Netflix to me more valuable? That more shows on it today than when it was in 2013 and 2014. This is actually a good topic to talk about because I do want to talk about more Sony stuff. And that's kind of a hard thing to assess, right? Because a few years ago, it was really only Netflix, Hulu, not a few years, like let's go 12 years ago. Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. Basically the only three. And there was less shows on all of them. But I valued. How did I value it? Right? Why would you watch it more? Because I had cut the cord. Today, I have more shows on Netflix. But are they better shows? I'm paying more, but I have more competition. I don't know. Like, what's the better value? Is today's higher Netflix cost better value than yesterday's Netflix cost? I used Netflix more back then than I do today. But Netflix has more shows today. That's why I say I think like there's a mantra that you have more content on a subscription, therefore it's a better value. But if I don't use that content, how's it a better value? That's what I mean. If someone is already playing Game Pass 16 hours a day, and then you give them more games and they only can play 16 hours a day, how's that more value? It's more choice. But more choice doesn't necessarily mean more value. If that was the case, it's like a steak. I always talk about this like a steak in a buffet. Now, I can go to a buffet that sells steaks. And that buffet probably has a lot of other things, right? Is it a better value than going to an actual steakhouse? I don't know. It depends on what you're saying is a value, right? How are you defining value? Like, what is the equation for value? And I think that's subjective. I think that's a rhetorical question, right? I don't think we're going to ever say what one is for the other. Starfield had 10 million in the first week players. Oh, let me see, comedian. What are you talking about? If games are valued like movies and TV shows, maybe then how are games valued, Severin? And I agree with Holtz. It's lost value. I love Korean shows, so yeah, I say Netflix is good. Sony games don't sell well against the console base, usually less than 10%. Xbox does. Player count seems to be better for them. Well, it's because they give it. I think it's so that's what your Starfield at 10 million the first week. That's kind of, I don't know. I gotta see how many actual people played it because I couldn't get. In order for that first week, I had to go through Starfield to get to my actual games. So what does that mean? Like it does better? Sony has more players. Like 10% is actually a pretty good number. If you think about it. Because if you look at the entire distribution curve of gamers, very few genres maintain more than 10 to 15% of gamers. Like if you compare like fighting versus puzzle versus simulation versus first-person shooter, third-person shooter versus action adventure versus RPG versus Western versus Japanese versus horror versus all the different genres of gaming. When you compile them up and you say, which type of gamer are you mainly? Very few games maintain a very high level. So I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying it's not bad. I don't want to make this like a case of what's bad and what's good. Like no one's going to know what is bad or good. I think that too many people want to compare like what it is you're doing relative to someone else is doing. And I think y'all are having a different conversation that I just butted in on. But I think for me, it comes down to value. That's what Severin was talking about. And to me, it's what is the value of a service? And I think if it is choice, whoever has the most games is going to win. If it is free, I don't think any of them win, right? And most gamers are free to play gamers. If it's the best experience, then it doesn't really matter which service it's going to be on, right? Because you're only going to get so many experiences a year, and you're going to be paying for most of your games, right? Actually, all the games I played this year are not on a service. The main games I played, not on a service. The one game that I was really looking forward to playing on a service, I didn't even play that much because it wasn't working with multiplayer. That was Payday 3. Vast majority of them, Zelda, Diablo, Cyberpunk, Pikmin, not on a service. So a service doesn't have value to me because I'm not going to play the games on it. That's how I see it. Racing halts. Yeah, there you go, racing. It's honestly down to it. Game sales doesn't matter. Who wins doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, right? What is valuable? And that's when I look at, but it's not about me. Like, I like to talk about business. I like to talk about the gaming of business, right? And I think, like, if we focus too much on console wars, or if we focus too much on it's I don't like, yes, I know it's about me. Like, I like it, yeah, but that's not what this conversation's about. Conversation's about the state of gaming and why I think what I think. And I think when I look at the majority of gamers and where the businesses are going, you have to take into account what the majority of people feel is of value. I think that's what I'm getting at. And I don't think the majority of people find value in the current gaming models, right? I think they're all actually losing. I don't think Game Pass makes money. I don't think GFN makes money. I think Prime makes money, but it's not because of gaming. I think Nintendo makes money, but they don't put any new games on it, right? I think the gaming subscription models that make the most money right now are on Apple and Google. That's how it is. And so if that's the thing, it's like, well, okay, well, what if it works for you, it works for you. But I think this is why I say the console wars, or the people who talk about stuff, they focus so much on, like, it's a very selfish way of looking at it. It's not objective. There's no numbers to it. Like, we use things like value, which, I kind of entertained that earlier. But in reality, gaming companies are trying to make money. And I think the ones that make money aren't the ones we think of. Only reason Xbox to my attention now is because of Starfield, Hellblade 2, Fable, Stealth of Midnight, Clockwork Road. When the games come out, they come out, Severin. You just mentioned Hellblade 2. Here's the thing about Hellblade 2. When Hellblade 1 came out, no one was talking about Hellblade 1. I remember when Hellblade came out. No one talked about it. It only got it popular because it got into the console wars. Like, we bought Hellblade, and then people are like, "Oh, it's a gem of a game." But the vast majority, I'm not saying you, Severin, vast majority of people who are talking about Hellblade have not played Hellblade. It's not a hard puzzle game. It has a decent story in it that's not meant to be continued. So I don't really know what Hellblade 2 is going to be like. I really have no faith in that game being anything better than what it is. Fable, I was never a Fable player. South of Midnight, it looked cool, but it was a cutscene type of movie. So I'm not really into that. Clockwork Revolution could be interesting. And Avowed, I was excited about Avowed last year. I'm not excited about Avowed this year. So, but I get you're excited about it. And that's what matters for you. And I think it matters. And that should only be matters to you. I think from a business standpoint, I don't think any of those games you just listed right there actually move the ball. I think Starfield does. I think it's a good game, but I still think it underperforms what they actually wanted it to. Hey Bliss, what's going on? Steam is the biggest game platform on PC, not the Microsoft Store. Facts. I'm not a fanboy forever. I'm a PC. I have a Switch. I have a PlayStation. I don't need an Xbox. It is what it is. Severin, you're a fan. No, I know. I didn't say you're a fan. Did I say Severin's a fanboy? I don't think I said that. But yeah, so the big stuff. Sony. We talked about their subscription service. We talked about how they're getting into cloud, so they're kind of trying to see what that's going to look like. We talked about them adding movies to their subscription service. We haven't talked about, what do y'all think about Spider-Man 2 launching on the same day as Mario Wonder? Head to head. Mario Wonder is going to sell twice as many copies. I'm going to tell you that right now. Done. Not even joking. Twice as many copies as Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I have no doubt about it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm not even a Mario fan. PlayStation Portal selling out in days. You know, the thing is, I don't know what does that mean. I don't know what that means. How many PlayStation Portals were out there? You know what I mean? Like, what does selling out in days mean? Like, yes, is there a demand for it? Sure. And I think that, but again, I think, Cowboy, I think you're prompting me. I don't think it really matters about the PlayStation Portal, right? I just think they're testing the market. And because they're testing the market, I think it's a success. They need to be seen as a success. They need to be seen as a success more than they are a success, if that makes sense. Because they could sell a whole bunch of these, but if it wasn't seen as a success, their venture into the handheld market is going to actually be a failure. But if they're seen as a success, then when handheld gaming, mobile gaming, this new generation, and when I say generation, I don't mean console, I mean this new type of gaming becomes really popular, then they will be able to be seen as a major player in gaming. If that makes sense. So that's what I feel like the Portal. That's why I think it's important. I think it's sold out, but I don't think it's nearly as big of a reason for the people who are saying about it today. Is the reason why. It's my thing. You want one, John? You should go get it. How many units were available at launch? How many did they make? Yep, we don't know, Severn. They're not going to tell us that. You know that. Don't look at the venture into the handheld market. Look at it as accessories. Yes, it's exactly what it is. What Cowboy said, it's an accessory. And you want to know what the biggest hint of it being an accessory is? Look who it launched with. It launched against Sony earbuds and another Sony accessory. Launched like a controller or something. Like it launched across all sorts of accessories. And that is the thing. Great call out, Cowboy. Great call out. But the PS5. So, PS5 Slim. I told y'all if Sony can come out with a smaller, better looking console, I would get it. So they came out with a smaller one. I don't think they came out with a better looking one. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of mixed on this, right? It's like, if I told a dude like, yo, I would date you if you lose weight. I don't even think that's not a good analogy. I don't know. It's still ugly. You know what I mean? But my hand may be forced on this one. It might be forced on this. Definitely not getting the PS5 Slim or the Portal. I think like my thing is I don't have the PS5, right? And they told me the PS5 Pro is going to be larger than the PS5 regular. So I'm like, if I want to get a PS whatever, I have to settle for the Slim. This has provided a dilemma. And there are games I want to play. Hey, Maker's here. Hey, Maker, I'd rather get the G Cloud since it can do PS Remote Play plus Game Pass and Android. Maker always has common sense. Always common sense with Maker. But yeah, I don't know if I want this provided me this. I wasn't expecting this dilemma to happen. I thought they would make it smaller and look better, but they just basically made it look the same in a little smaller. But maybe it's the substance that counts. Maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong. It's the substance that counts. I can't tell you how annoyed I am with this dilemma. First world problems. I'm on the fence. No, I'm on the fence. I feel like I would be going against my principles if I went and bought this. It looks a tad better. Yeah, it's a tad cuter. It's like cuter because it's like smaller. I hate this. And hate's a strong word, but I really don't like it. May not be getting it. I may not be getting it. I'm not gonna lie. My hand may be forced though. My brother, I think I've told y'all about my brother. And I think I told y'all we're all kind of going to be moving in together here at the end of the year. He wants a PlayStation. I'm not joking. I am not joking. He doesn't play games, but he wants a PlayStation. And yeah. But I just don't want that PlayStation. I don't know. It's not pretty, Rouster. It's not pretty. It now really looks like a router. Before it looked like a giant router. Now it just looks like a large router. I don't want a router. This is almost like me going to go get the Xbox that looks like an Alexa. I don't want that. I don't even know what I want in a game. Console. Like, I like the box. I guess that's what I want. It's a console, it's a box. Make it look like a box. Maybe that's what I need. Reverse here says the Slim is not for current PS5 owners. It's to saturate the market. Maybe that's it. I don't know. You saturate the market with a higher price console though. Did he say he wanted why does he want a PlayStation? I don't know why he wants a PlayStation, Ja. He wants it because he's like, oh, I think it's cool. Like, that's how my brother thinks. He's older than me, too. He thinks like this. He thinks like, oh, because that's what all the cool people play. That's literally what he thinks. I'm like, they play. And here's the reason why. I could understand if it's like he wants to play God of War, or if he wants to play like Gran Turismo, or like some PlayStation exclusive. No. He wants to play Mortal Kombat 1. That's his game. And when I say he wants to play it, he plays it like 10 hours, like maybe 1 hour a month. But he's gonna he has this weird way of getting me to buy things. So I might be getting it. Whereas I saying about software, that's why I wanted. I'm telling you, if it was up to me, I'm on the fence because there are some games I want to play on it. That's the thing that I can't play on Xbox. Like Erica, I'm really pissed I can't play that game on Xbox. I know it's a lot of money, Rouster, but it's because here's the thing, he's like retired. I think I told y'all he's a Purple Heart recipient. Y'all saw his service dog. He was blown up in the war. So, love him to death. Glad he's still here. And he's like just like any other person who's retired, right? Like, they're retired. They got a retired income and stuff. And buying PlayStation is probably not what you want to do on a retirement income, right? So he'll say like, all right, I'm going to go buy it. I'll be like, don't do that. You're on a retirement income. So how do I stop that? Then I have to go buy it. And he knows this. He's probably watching this right now. I don't know. Then my mom wanted it. I told y'all my mom wanted it, but she was just joking. I don't think she wants to play Spirit Fair. She wants to play Spirit. That's the game. And I was like, I got you on Spirit Fair. I can do that. Yeah, he is, Rouster. I know he is. Hey, Legend, how's it going? I think there are bliss, but I don't know if it's worth getting an ugly console. You can only play one console at a time, and I can play stuff on Xbox. Most of the games I want to play are on Xbox. And next year, actually, I think I'm going to be gaming less. This year was when all the games I wanted to play were. Next year, I think all I have is Prince of Persia. Black Myth Wukong, and I think that's it. Like this year, I had like 6 games I wanted to play, and then like they came out and what's it called dropped. Liza P dropped Remnant 2 Raze, so it was like I always had something I want to play. Next year, I don't really have that many games I want to play. He has a Switch. Put the PS5 in an Xbox box and say, "I got you your console." He would know. He's not that. He would know. He would know. From all come for your brother on the Switch. Nah, he would know. He's not that. He likes nice things. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Like, if it was my mom and I think I told y'all this. She's probably listening. She's like, "Don't tell him that," and I'm gonna probably end the stream in like 10 minutes. But my mom, if it was her and I, we would probably still be in the city. I'd just get a bigger apartment and stuff. But we were like, "Hey, let's bring my brother." But he didn't want to go to like any place. He's like, "If I'm gonna move in, I need a really nice place." So the place we got, pretty nice place. But that's how he is. He likes the nicest things. And so in his mind, PlayStation's the nicest. Don't ask me. It's not a console war comment. Please promise. Not a console war comment. It's just how the way he is. Been waiting on Black Myth Wukong for a time. I know David Wilson, but those are like the only 2 games I can think of right now. I mean, Diablo 4 is going to release some stuff again, right? But I'm not sure if I want to play. Rouster, I don't know if I want to go through it again. Like, I've done a lot of the stories. I don't know if I want to level up another character for it. Right? Tears of the Kingdom, I'll probably be done with that over the next month, 2 months. Cyberpunk, I'll probably be done by the holidays. I don't know. Like, I that's why I say, I think there's more movies and TV shows I'm excited about. But I can't think of anything that... Maybe Remnant 2's, Bliss, what did you think of Remnant 2, by the way? I'm curious what you thought about Remnant 2. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I don't... Maybe it's just me, but 2023 I was excited about gaming. 2024 I'm not excited. There's just nothing there. You don't do the story again, but that's fair. I could, but that's a lot of leveling up, Rouster. I like the modular PS5. Maybe I would like the digital one. Then, and by the way, I would get the digital one. I do know that. If I got the other one, it'd be digital. I have an OLED Switch, a Series S, and PC. I feel good with that. I can wait on PC for PS. Totally get you, Kubini. I'm just saying, for me personally, like, I'm not excited about gaming next year. And now I sound like TK9, right? TK's always like gaming. He's like, "I'm done. It's the last generation." I'm actually starting to see more of what he's saying now. But he gonna get every color controller for PlayStation? I don't know, but I get every controller. I get every color for Xbox. I don't think he's like that. He just wants to say he has the PlayStation. God of War and God of War Ragnarok are worth it. Ghost of Tsushima, Bloodborne, no, not doing Bloodborne. Not because it's hard. I just don't like the. I told like I said, Bliss. I don't like the timing mechanic. It bothers me. Since Jetpack gear for gaming this year, no matter what comes out next year, it's going to be hard to follow. Yeah, Davis, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Like, even right now, people are like super excited about racing games. I don't do racing games. People are super excited about fighting games. I would play Mortal Kombat for the story, but that's about the only one I would play. I'm not really into shooters. Zelda came out. That's going to be hard to top. Maybe I play Baldur's Gate. Maybe I just do like my back catalog next year. Maybe. I don't know. I never got Remnant 2. Oh no, Bliss. You would do the season 2 story. I will be playing, of course. Maybe I'll do it. I think I'm done for it after 30 years. And now what? Now we're repeating. Yeah, we are just getting old. Maybe that's it, Sean. Y'all are right. I can't wait to play a story-driven game because I would be afraid to have the story ruined. You can't wait to play a story because that's happened to you. You've had that. To me, I just would never. I don't stream the story. If you notice, the games I stream, like, you can explain. Like, I beat the game, and I still have to like sit back, like, and figure out what happened. even if I streamed it, like that's why I take Dark Pictures Anthology. Like there's a certain reason I stream the games I stream. And that's because like they're games that I probably wouldn't play on my own, but y'all are there, so I play them. Makes sense to me, right? And then if you ruin it, it's like, how are you gonna ruin it? Like, it's a horror game. There's not like some deep meaning. That's why I play the games I play. Elden Ring DLC is coming out next year, most likely anyway. I have to play the first Elden Ring, so that's probably maybe, like I said, maybe next year's the year of my back catalog. Persona Legend. Anytime I hear the word Persona, you come to mind. I'm not even lying. You come to mind. My hubby got the OLED Switch and just sits there not touching. He won't let me play. He plays PlayStation more. But John, you need to get Diablo 4. That roster, that's who we need to get in Diablo. John Witt. Next year's the year to get caught up, at least before June anyway. What's coming out in June, Kubini? That's messed up to not to share. Yeah, I know. There's a lot from previous years that are worth going back to. There is. What's the other one I need to play? It's from CD Projekt Red. Oh gosh. Witcher 3. I think next year. Maybe that's it. Next year's just the year I catch up. There's a lot of TV shows and movies I need to catch up on. There's a lot of books. So like I said, I'll stream the same amount, but I'm going to be gaming less. Like, I think the pinnacle of my gaming was 2023. Now it's like... And it's not to say gaming's bad. It's just that, like I say, gaming has to compete against so many other things. And there's nothing in my, like where I was, like, going to the Nintendo store to pick up Pikmin or staying in line for Zelda or, like, staying up late to download a game. Nothing next year really makes me feel that way. Nothing. But that's, I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm just like, eh. If you like Kubini, I want Starfield DLC to do well for you. You like it. If you're gaming, I want to see it do well. We will be playing soon. Jaw, you're welcome to join. I have it, but I don't have time to play it on PS5. I still need to go back to Hellblade Propel. Hellblade's like a... Dave Wilson, you should be able to knock that one out quick. You're a serious gamer. You'll knock it out in like 5 hours. 6 tops. 6 tops. Witcher 3 and 0 are the best games I've ever played. There you go, Bliss. You put the nail in the coffin. Gotta bounce, but hey, thanks, Opie Rose. Thanks. I'm about to bounce too. I'm waiting for the 2-hour mark. I don't know. It's like an even 2 hour. I'm on level 3 in Diablo 4. That's still good. Better than the people who haven't played. I just want to know what it is, honestly. The DLC, I think it's gonna do well. I saw. Y'all know. I think Pepsi Cola is Pepsi Cola and Frito-Lay are monopolies, right? I think I told y'all this, right? I think those two companies are a monopoly. Definitely Frito-Lay. Pepsi owns Frito-Lay, by the way. And guess who I saw on the cover of a Doritos bag this week? None other than Starfield. And what do you know? Birds of a feather flock together. Joke. We're going to mail it into the FTC. Look at this. Proof that they're a monopoly. I'm sitting here laying in my truck. I should go to sleep too. Thanks, Purple. Hey, Kubini. And congrats on the new truck. I heard you got a new truck, Kubini. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I got 1 minute and I'm going to sign. I think I can sign off right now. Prince of Persia, David Wilson. It's Prince of Persia and Black Myth Wukong. That's it. It's the only ones I'm looking forward to. That's it. I don't know. But y'all, it's been real. Price of Persia looks really good. Price of Persia. Sounds like you're throwing shade at Ubisoft there, roster. Doritos has tons of Xbox covers at the moment. Birds of a feather, Kubini. Birds of a feather. No, thanks, Kubini. Yo, if y'all haven't checked out Kubini, great dude. Big time Xbox fan, but he's not a fanboy. Let me tell you that. He's not a fanboy. He brings up great points. He doesn't go off on the deep end at all. I appreciate his commentary. Thanks, Kubini, for stopping by. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I was being serious. Price of Persia. David Wilson, we need a game again. But yeah, all right, y'all. It's about that time. I gotta wash this face. and get Remy to sleep. I gotta play with him here, but with that said, y'all, I'll probably be gaming Sunday, so we'll see what I need to game. But I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right, thanks, y'all. Thanks for letting me get this off my chest. I need to talk. I need to talk business. I just had a lot of thoughts, and thanks for letting me just kind of vent, go at it. Thanks, everyone. Peace.